You're listening to iLive Radio. Changing the way you listen to radio. iLive Radio.
Talks honest. Talks honest. Talks honest. Talks honest. Hello and welcome. You are tuned into iLive Radio UK, changing the way you listen to radio. I'm your host, Miss Law, and this is a platform and an opportunity for you to discuss topics never spoken but often thought of. You can connect with us by contacting us on 0208 638 8503 or all the W's uk.iliveradio.com.
What if we spoke honestly? 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 What if we spoke honestly?
Welcome to episode 1 of Black Women's Wisdom. Today's topic is race. Joining us today is Miss D. Welcome, Miss D.
Hello. Good afternoon all.
Welcome.
Thank you, Mandy, for hosting, or thank you, Missy, for hosting the show. Thank you to the listeners and happy Father's Day.
Today's subject is race. My question is, what is race? Now, it's associated to biology. It is linked with physical characteristics, skin color, hair texture. Now, what is your definition of race? I pose that question to Miss D.
My definition of race is what makes me who I am. It's the colour of my skin, it's my culture, it's the language I speak. I speak English, but obviously coming from Caribbean heritage, we have the English language with maybe broken English or an accent. So it's everything about me as a black woman living in Britain.
And yourself, Miss Mo?
I think I'm just kind of agreeing with what Miss D is saying on the same sort of thing, but I think growing up as a young person, I just always related it to my skin colour mostly. Obviously I'm hearing you talking about hair textures. I never factored that in. I always just thought of the skin colour as how I defined it.
Well, it's said that race is determined by skin colour and hair texture. Who says so? I don't know. Mm-hmm. But that's possibly a way in which we are identified to be different, to be of different race.
Right.
Now, how we define race will be different to each one of us, depending on how you feel about your race, the races that are different from yours, and so on.
Yeah.
So, based on that, how do you feel that you're different from another person? That question is to Miss D.
I would say how I feel. I feel like I'm made to feel different from other people. I'm proud of who I am, but I know I'm different because I feel I'm treated differently, and I think that's probably the main thing. I became very aware from a young age that I was different, and just like Ms. Mo said, I knew I was different because my parents told me, I have to try harder because of my skin colour. So yeah, skin colour was a big thing actually, more than anything.
Okay, so you've touched on the fact that when you were younger, your parents highlighted that obviously that you would need to do more, or you were different and you had to identify. How did that actually make you feel as an individual? Obviously, you're a child, so your understanding is not going to be, you're not going to fully understand what that means.
No.
So can you elaborate on that?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't challenge it. I just accepted that's the way things were. For me, it was like, it didn't even cross my mind that I was being really treated differently. I just accepted. It was accepted. It was accepted by my parents, and I think that's the thing. When your parents accept it, you will automatically accept it as a child.
Okay. And how about you, Miss Mode? What was your realization, or what flags were put for you to actually identify yourself being different from another race?
I think just seeing how my mum was treated differently compared to, like, you know, a white person.
Okay.
Seeing it as a young child, and like I'm questioning, like, why is my mum being treated this way but she's not? Like, you're both women, but one's getting treated more nicer than my mum. And then obviously I used to ask questions because it baffled me. So obviously my mum sat down and told me, like, you know, being here in this country, you're gonna have people who are...
Be sure to register your copy of Sam at www.spatialaudio.com. You'll feel warm and squishy inside once you do.
Yeah. Once I sat down with my mum explained to me how things are more or less different for her and will be for myself and stuff like that. So that's where I knew the difference. Then I think later on, in my teens, obviously my mum was able to tell me about when she came over here and the treatment that she had.
Yeah.
Because being from back home, they were always friendly and nice to one another. But then coming over here to the foreign country, they thought they would have the same type of treatment.
Yeah.
But they soon found out that that wasn't the case.
Right.
Yeah. So, what about you, Miss Law?
Growing up as a young child, I never really experienced racism or my race being an issue.
Okay.
I'm not too sure why that was, but I didn't experience. But the time that I experienced it was when I went for my first job interview. And the shock when I announced who I was, it was like the person had seen a ghost.
Right.
And that was my first realization of racism, or that my race was possibly an issue,
right,
to some people.
Yeah.
So I kind of, at that point, I think I then identified myself to be different.
Right, so...
And not so socially acceptable.
Right, so you're saying more when you, as an adult,
As a teen.
As a teen.
Was the first time I actually experienced... Right. When I say I may have been experiencing it as a younger, but I didn't identify. Because as a child, you're probably not thinking on those kind of levels. If it's not really highlighted to you as a problem, or your family's experienced problems, then it doesn't become an issue until you're actually a victim of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
That's how that...
What age was that, Miss Law?
My first job was at 16.
Okay.
And that was in the corporate world. In the city, when I went for an interview. And that really woke me up to the point that I said, wow, okay. It made me very aware. I began to look at myself differently. I identified with my people. Obviously, my family are all of the same colour, but it made me aware, more aware.
Right, because obviously for me growing up, I think the area that I lived in at the time was more predominantly black, but it had that multicultural aspect there as well. So you get other places in London, or if you go like Greater London, you'll probably get more who are more white, majority, than like where I've
so a mixture of races and where you reside.
But where I was, it was a whole mixture, but the majority slightly was more the black.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just recalling primary school days was, if I remember right, was a mixture of black, Asian and white, and race never came up. So at school, the colour of your skin didn't seem to matter. And if I think about secondary school again, I had a mixture of all friends, although like the black girls, we did stick together. We sort of, we always walked around. But I do remember we mixed with everybody. I think I had a Turkish friend. I had everybody. So the race thing, I think, became more apparent when I left school and started working, and then I was a real minority.
Right. Okay, that's interesting. So we've all experienced it at different parts of our life. For race has been an issue. Has there been positive due to the fact that the colour of your skin and the race that you are? That's to Miss D.
Perceived by others or perceived by us? What do you mean?
By others.
Positive, yeah. I mean, you meet people from obviously different backgrounds. I've met white and Asian people that, we just talk and they don't care what colour your skin is.
Yeah.
Or that's, I can only go by how they're treating me and how we're talking.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to sound cliche now. I've got friends that are white, that's what they say about us sometimes. We've got black friends, but I genuinely have friends from all nationalities actually, and because I'm a person like most black people that welcomes everybody, so we're friendly. We don't really dislike anyone. I think as a race we are very open and welcoming.
Yeah, that's our nature. Yeah.
But everybody hates us, and it's weird because it's like, why? We're so friendly. We're friendly, kind people.
Yeah, this is very true. That's the same question I was just about to ask. When we sit down and we're subjected to certain things, we're a race. There's people who are prejudiced against and dislike us, and we're victims of racism. Yeah. And when you put that all together, it makes you feel, sometimes if you're not on a certain level, it can make you feel pretty low, make you feel like you have no worth.
Yeah.
So it's important that we actually understand who we actually are, and identify that who we are and what we are as a people, and stop with the divide. I would like to go in deeper, and I want to push this onto you, Miss D, because I know you're quite passionate, and I know you've got a lot to say, and I would like to give you this opportunity to open up the floor a bit and just go in a little bit.
Okay. Right, I'm going to start on probably when I started working. Yeah. When I started working, I literally was, I think there was 2 black women in an office. I worked in the corporate world in finance. There was 2 black women in an office we were on a floor, a department of 60 people. And for a long time, I'll be honest with you, I was lost because, I didn't want to be stereotyped. I tried really hard because I just thought, I don't want them to say, I'm quite a strong personality and I know how to stick up for myself. So I had to kind of tone it down. I had to make sure I was speaking properly. I had to make sure, I felt like I had to be more professional than the rest of them, I'll be honest with you, because we had people from the East End. But I didn't think, as a black woman, I felt like I had to really set an example and fly the flag. So I don't know if you guys have worked in corporate, have you had that experience?
For myself, working in corporate, yes. I was identified, but people were somewhat confused as to what I was. And I say that because obviously my background is half black but half Asian, okay? So when I'm perceived or spoken to, or they don't see me as a black woman. Now, my skin colour tells you that I'm a black woman.
Of course.
Whether my hair texture is a certain way or I speak a certain way doesn't differentiate from the fact that I am a black woman. And in anyone's eyes, that is what I am. And I won't proclaim to be anything but that. What my makeup is irrelevant. I identify as a black woman. So I don't need to have someone saying, well, you're not really black, because I'm either black or I'm not.
Sorry. How does that make you feel as a woman?
That makes you feel very much singled out, because you're not white, you're not Asian, and you're not black. So where do you fit in? Who are you? You understand? So it's like you're at a point where you're not accepted by the race that you are, because they see you to be different.
Well, do you mean the black race didn't accept you?
The black race, the Asian race.
Wow.
So it's like, where do you fit in? So it on one hand, it's nice to know that you're accepted, but when you're not accepted by either of your race, then it becomes an issue for you mentally, because now you're an individual who's looked upon differently by both of your races.
Wow.
So how do you balance that?
Wow.
You know, your comment, that people would comment on things about you that are Asian, and then people will comment about the fact that you're not black enough to be black.
You know what? I always felt like, you know, when you were mixed with long hair, you were envied by black people. And I remember when I was little, and what was that band called with the 5 brothers and sisters? I mean, 5.
5 Star.
5 Star.
Right. I remember I loved 5 Star. We loved 5 Star at school. Showing my age now. And I remember looking in the mirror and saying, I wish my skin was lighter. I wish my hair was straighter. I never ever saw myself as a pretty little girl. And that continues. And I'm not saying, even now, I said to somebody very recently, I see myself as a very attractive, black, dark-skinned, beautiful woman. Yeah. But sometimes if someone says it to me, I'm very uncomfortable. Do you know that?
Yeah.
And it's not because, and I've always liked the tone of my skin, because I'm quite dark, and I'm one of these people that sits in the sun to get even darker. I love it, but and I've never not liked my colour, never. I've always been proud of my skin tone. You know, but at that point when I was little, I suppose then I'm being a hypocrite, because then at a young age, I just thought you get more attention and people think you're pretty if you have long hair. So I'm surprised to hear you say that, Miss Law.
Yeah, I mean, even though you have these things, you know, like I've talked about other subjects, and hair has come up as an issue.
Wow. Yeah.
You know, people want this so to speak hair, but it's not what you see, and the struggle that someone with hair does have. It's a completely different ball game.
Of course.
So we gravitate to things that we don't have, and then we criticize the things that we don't have. So, you know, what is that about? Like, we need to identify ourselves as being people that have great hair, long hair, short hair. You know, our skin colours, there's a kaleidoscope of colours that are shades of our skin. So it's like, I think we as a people need to understand that we are one. as opposed to using a colour chart to say that, oh, I'm better than you, or vice versa.
But that's just boils down to Western society and their interpretation of what beauty is meant to look like.
But then, having said
I think
that,
it's deeper than that as well. Go on.
but having said that, as much as we're told these things, these are things that we want to follow. These are things that we go out and buy to fit in with the Western world, instead of accepting who we are and sticking to who we are as a people.
Yeah, but sorry to cut you, it's what you've been exposed to.
Yeah. But
If you see something that's been on TV or in your magazines constantly
Yeah.
for a long time, you're going to gravitate to that.
I understand.
And you're going to want that. So on the positive side now, it's nice to see that a lot of us black women are actually loving the skin we're in, loving our hair texture,
Yes.
being proud of our hair texture and our skin colour, and embracing it.
Yes.
You're sure right.
And I also, sorry, I would like to add, as a result of lockdown, I think people have had the opportunity to embrace their blackness on different levels. I mean, with regards to hair, not being able to go to hairdressers, not being able to go to barbers and stuff like that. People have now had that opportunity to realise, oh my God, my hair is beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to do stuff with my hair. And I think when you step outside of your home, there are so many things happening that you want to tap into. Sometimes just having that time at home changes your thought process.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go a bit deeper now.
Go for
You're
it,
right.
girl.
You're right about the hair. But I think we need to go back a bit further, because yes, it's all to do with what's in the media now, and I think that's more affecting the young people, some of the young people. But that whole hair thing and colour of the skin goes right back to, unfortunately, it goes right back to slavery days, where we were pitted against each other. If you had fair skin, you'd be the house servant, wouldn't you? You'd be acceptable in the house because you looked more white.
Yeah.
More presentable.
And we need to remember where the fair skin came from. It came from the slave masters raping the black women. Yeah,
right.
That's how people became mixed. So, you were more favoured to go into the house, more prestigious positions as a slave. You were all still a slave.
Yes.
Yeah.
But your slave privileges, yes.
Well, I've had debates with a woman that told me her family were free slaves. They weren't normal slaves. I mean, what the hell's a free slave? You're still a slave, aren't you?
Still a slave, yeah.
Aren't you still a slave, yeah?
Yeah.
You're still a slave. So, there's a whole, we've been conditioned for many hundreds of years.
Yes.
So it's not something we can just erase in a heartbeat. But I'm proud to say, I think things are changing, and they're changing fast, because the young people are not having it. They're just not having it. They're really educated, and they know their history, or I wouldn't say they know their history. I don't think any of us know our history in depth.
No.
And that is definitely something we need to start doing. And what I would like to add is the history we need is not from the white Western world. We need our history taught from the Caribbean. I'm not even sure about Africa, I don't know, but we need our history from where it started,
originated
the
from.
truth.
Yes. Yeah, that's very, very true. Now, I want to ask another question. Do you feel accepted in your current life, right now, right here?
Wow.
And I'm going to pose that to Miss Mode.
Wow.
Maybe a few years ago I probably would have said yes. But I feel it's who I'm surrounded by now.
Yeah.
I'm in a community of people who look like me, who I can relate to.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've come from a corporate world, and also I've come from youth work. So all these avenues have been different for me. Like, obviously, I can relate to both you ladies on the corporate side, where Miss D was saying about, you know, you had to even speak more better better than them, just for them not to look at you and kind of side eye you and criticize you and be like, oh, you sound a bit common, or you know, you're using a slang term or something. But I've noticed a change where with people just not having no filter and just being blatantly racist, and they don't care about it, they don't care how you feel. But I feel now that I'm in a community where I'm surrounded by my people, I feel more empowered to be like, you know what, you're not going to talk to me in that manner.
So can I just interject?
Yeah.
So based on the fact you said that you're surrounded by the people that you can communicate, relate with, you know, who understand you, so you feel accepted amongst those people?
Yeah, but not in general.
So in general, you don't feel, up to
Totally
today,
not. No.
your current age, you don't feel accepted?
No. Because it's just the way we're being treated. We're still like second class. We're still at the bottom.
Yeah.
You have other races and cultures.
That's right.
Who are kind of like more accepted than us.
Yes, 100%.
You know?
But I would say, I think for me, I think I probably forced myself into everywhere, because I knew, you know, I worked corporate, you know, earned a decent amount of money. So I decided, when I started listening to the things they were experiencing, I thought, no, I'm not going to be satisfied with Chinese in the cinema. I want to do things that they do. I want to see things. So I put myself in places that most black people wouldn't go, and I didn't care. And I loved when I walked in and they said, you know, I went on the Orient Express. We were the only black people on it, you know. Look at me, yeah, I'm here, I can afford to do it. So I don't care. So I think for me, it was more, I know I'm not accepted, but do I care? No. If I've got my money and I can pay for it, which I've worked for, it's not stolen, it's honest money. I think one of the good things and one of the main things for me is when I open my mouth, I was able to communicate in a very clear way. So they used to judge me until my mouth opened. And when my mouth opened, I could see they were like, then they'd be a bit scared, because I could see, oh, you know, she's not what I thought she was. But we're judged by our colour of our skin before we're judged by anything else. They don't know our class. Yeah. I mean, even if you dress up, they don't care. They'll judge you. So they don't know your class. They don't know your religion. They don't care. They just see black. So for me, it's really about how I carry myself. I don't care. I could be in a tracksuit and trainers, and I'll go to the chemist and I can see the black security man following me. In fact, it happened today. The black security man's got his eyes on me because I've walked in, and you know, his eyes are following me in the shop, and I'll stop and I'll look back at him and I'll stare at him. Sometimes I shout in the shop, don't waste the time following me, because while you're looking at me, the white people are stealing, you know, wake up. Yeah. So I force myself. It's not about being accepted for me so much. I'm sorry. Yeah.
So you said that you would. So based on what you're saying, like, you've got yourself to a certain standard, and you've taken yourself to that certain standard to be accepted or to be able to be recognised. Yes? Is that right?
No, I'd say I've taken myself to a certain standard to live the life I would like, to live a quality of life I want. Okay. I don't want to be, you know, without money. And I know money's not the most important thing, don't get me wrong. It really isn't. It never has been for me. But I like nice things. I love nice clothes. I want to buy what I want. If I want to go on holiday, I want to be able to do that. And the same, I had a child. I've got a daughter who's now 20. And I wanted to be, you know, able to give her the things, the nice things in life. I wanted her to experience things. Yeah. So I had to earn money, and I so happened to be in the city. Whether that was the right place for me, now I look back and I think I'm not sure. But it gave me a nice lifestyle.
Okay. So there may have been points in your life that you've been rejected. And when you think about those rejections, how does it actually make you feel? And I'm posing that to you, Misty.
I remember probably one of the worst cases. Two things happened. I remember going to school when I was young. We went to Wales on a coach, and we were in secondary school, I think, or primary, sorry. I can't remember, but I just remember we were on this coach, and the children in Wales were counting us and saying, there's another one, like we were monkeys on the coach. They were counting us and pointing at us and saying, like running around the coach, counting us, black children on the coach, yeah? That was probably my first bad experience, and thinking, God, what is going on here? Second one, I would say, I went to Greece. We went to Greece on holiday. I was pretty young. I think I was probably 18, 19, and it was Crete. I've never been back, yeah, and we were treated so badly, like, if they could have spat on us, they would have spat on us. Like, everywhere we went, it was an old, beautiful fishing village. Everywhere we went, we were stared at. When we went in the shop, like, we'd pay for something and the money would be slapped down on the counter. Nobody spoke to us. It was really hostile, actually. Yeah. So that's when I thought, my goodness, even abroad, they're not even white. They're Greek,
Yeah. And how about you, Miss Mode? What's your experience of rejection?
To be honest, I haven't come across it. Obviously, I've been to seasides and day out trips and stuff like that, but I haven't personally experienced that.
Okay. For myself, I have been subjected to it by my own race. And not even though I received it from white people, it hasn't been as bad as it has been with black people. Now,
wow.
The reason why I say that is probably because I feel or I felt that need to be accepted by my own. So it hurt more when somebody of my same colour didn't see me as them. When it came to a white person showing me racism, I tended to laugh that off because I just felt that they were ignorant. I didn't feel that they were educated.
And supposedly you would accept them to carry out, that way than your own.
To be quite honest, I expect that of them.
Yeah.
Because of living through years of, it's out there. Mm-hmm. They're not necessarily racist to me, but they're racist to people, my friends, my family.
Yeah.
I'm walking down the road, I'm visually seeing it. So as much as I haven't really been a victim of it, it's out there. Yeah. I can see it. I'm not blind. So
we've been go on.
Go for it.
I was going to say, we've been taught to divide, yeah? So we've been taught from way back again. Our history has taught us, dark and light against each other, African and Caribbean against each other. Within Africa, tribes are against each other. Mm-hmm. If you speak a different language in Africa, they're warring, yeah? And we've got it here, the Caribbean, not in the Caribbean. I don't, I've been to a lot of islands and I don't experience the divide. They work together, don't they? The Caribbean islands actually work together. I find it's the Caribbeans that live here that start talking nonsense about different islands. Oh, you've got this. Who cares? The fact is, we've all got slightly different cultures. Not even cultures, slightly different maybe food or way of speaking, currency in our island, but we're all black and we're all Caribbean, and we all came from Africa. I've met Caribbean people that say they don't come from, they're not African.
So they need to go back into their books, don't they?
Well, the problem is you've touched on it, Miss Law, ignorance and lack of education. And we as a people, I think, to stop the divide, we need to be educated. We really do. And it's not just the young people. Yes, bring it in. Black history needs to be taught in the schools. You know, we need black teachers to teach it, and I want the truthful, not rubbish, not watered down nonsense they put in the book that you can buy on Amazon. We need the truth talk, we need to be taught.
Very true. But what gets on my nerves is that when they think of black history, they start at slavery, and it shouldn't be. They should start back as where we were kings and queens. We had our own royalties and stuff like that.
Can I ask you a question though? Why do you think they only start our history from slavery? So that's very interesting, because it's as though they only want us to identify ourselves as being slaves. But the greater things that we have come from, they've more or less erased that from the scripts.
Because they don't want us to know how great
we are.
We are.
That's correct.
How creative we are.
Yes.
How we invented things that they have stolen and claimed it as their own.
That's right.
That's my reason why they don't want to do
because
that.
Because what bothers me about this whole race issue, we're nothing in their eyes. We won't amount to anything. But yet, why do you feel the need to keep holding us down? If we're never going to be anything, and we come from nothing, why do you feel that it's necessary for you to take our black men from us, imprison our black men, imprison our black women, you know, keep everyone incarcerated or keep them under your thumb? Why don't you just let us be?
I think deep down they know if we all came together, it's going to be a big problem.
Yes, 100%.
And they know that.
Yeah.
So that's where you keep having this
they need to
divide
keep us
and just keep us hating one another.
Yeah. Keep that divide between us.
Yeah.
Conquer and divide.
Yeah.
What I'd say is this, though.
Be sure to register your copy of Sam at www.spatialaudio.com. You'll feel inside once you do.
With that movement, I've never been so excited in all my life, because I feel like this is it. This is history in the making.
Mm-hmm.
As people, I truly believe that we're mounting up. We're mounting up, and we're going to soar. We're soaring like eagles. I'm serious, and this is our time. And yes, that's what they've done to us in the past, but they can't do it anymore if we don't let them. And I think what I'm seeing, I'm so happy and excited, because I think the young people are ahead of us. I think you mentioned this before, Miss Rose.
Yeah.
Like, my daughter's 20. That age group, they're on fire. I'm telling you. They've got, I don't know if you people are aware, there's Black Twitter. Black Twitter is brilliant. It's literally, I don't use Twitter that much, but it is. Social media for these purposes are superb.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like they had the Blackout Tuesday.
Yeah.
Everything is circulating. So information is flying around.
So
these young people are boycotting businesses. You know, it's brilliant.
So tell me something. So change is coming. We can see that because people are reacting now. But what makes this change any different from those that have happened generation after generation after generation? Why is today going to be any different from 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 60 years ago? That's a question to both of you. Feel free to answer.
Who's going first?
No, you go, Misty. It's fine.
Right. What I would say is, I mean, in my lifetime, and even my parents, I mean, obviously we had Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. Since those days, I've not seen, I think we still lack a leader to stand up for us like those men. I mean, those men were exceptional and people could follow, yeah? We lack that. But this time, it feels different. And I kept saying, what is different about George Floyd's death? Because, you know, I've seen so many videos of black men being slaughtered by the police. I've seen loads, and it's been going on for years. But this one, I think because of COVID and we were all stuck in our houses, I think everybody saw it. And it's not just the black community. Because it went worldwide, it became worse than ever. And I think people were already locked down and frustrated. Then that came out, and I think, you know what I would truly say, for the very first time, I feel like white people, had a light bulb moment. They've had a light bulb moment.
Okay.
It's like the light's gone on, and they now see black people. They never saw us before.
Yeah.
They never saw us. They never heard us. I've never heard them on Good Morning Britain saying, Piers Morgan and Susanna saying, what as white people, what can we do as white people? Have you ever heard that question before, ladies?
No, I
never heard
haven't.
that.
And I think you are right when you're saying this whole lockdown situation has opened their eyes, and like looks like, wow, seeing this happen. And then from George Floyd now, and then there's Breonna Taylor, and so many of them that's happened now. You're actually in your home now, sitting down, seeing this now. And it's not like a once a month thing. You're seeing it nearly every other day or every week.
Yeah.
Can I add something? I know, sorry.
Oh yeah,
Can I add
go ahead.
You know, for me, I had this conversation last week, right? For me, I've heard people say, why are we jumping on the bandwagon because of something that happened in America? This is not jumping on the bandwagon. Black people have realised that this is an opportunity. We got people, white, Asian, everybody saying, you know, ready to bend it, to go down on one knee and support us right here in the UK.
Yeah.
It's no longer about one man that died.
It doesn't matter.
You know what? He didn't die in vain. He died for a reason. He died. That 8 minutes 46 seconds was for a reason. That was a slow, disgusting, painful death for that man. You know, I pray for his family, honestly, and his children he's left behind.
Yes.
You know, our heart goes out to them. But he died for a reason. His name is going down in history forever. Yeah. When you see them, listen, in Washington, I think it's hilarious. Right by the White House, they've got Black Lives Matter on the street.
Yeah,
you know,
they've done it.
We know that the idiot, I'm not going to say the name, the man in the White House or whatever you call him, you know, he won't even address what's happened. You know, we got problems right here in the UK. I mean, I'm all for the protest, and I'm sick of hearing black people calling it rioting and looting as well, because there's a movement, a positive movement for our people going on. Yeah. So why are we addressing it as rioting and looting?
We see what it is anytime we stand up, if we do a peaceful march, there's too many of us to actually be doing that. If we rebel or we do something aggressive, we're aggressive people. So they feel the need. It's just the way that they've taught themselves to deal with us as a race. They haven't taken that opportunity to understand us, our struggle, what we've been through, how and why we're at this point, why we are not connected or united. They've divided us all our lives. So what more can we do but other than get ourselves united? You know,
very true. Yeah. Sticking on that, I've seen a lot of people protesting, demonstrating, taking a knee and all that, but I'm just hoping that it's not just a phase and we just end it like the end of 2020, that's it, and then now that everybody's back to normal, people just kind of forget and just carry on with their day-to-day life. I feel we need to constantly talk about this on a regular basis, not wait for a Black History Month to, you know, bombard people with it. It needs to be discussed all year round because certain things need to be changed.
So going forward, like you've displayed what you've just said, Miss Mode. So we want this to continue, but what is it going to take? How can we get this to continue? How can we get united? Because it's all about us being united as a people. You know, we all have the same journey to take. We still want the same destination. But how do we continue it?
Well, it's all up to us as individuals. Our minds can't be lazy. We have to continue be active. Whether we have platforms that we can continue to have these discussions, or actually go to our councils and government officials, and if there's something that's not in place, why isn't it?
Question. So you're saying to go to the government, do you think they will have our best interests at heart?
If there's the same way how with this George Floyd thing has spread worldwide, if you keep up that same momentum for the things that we need in place, so for example, having Black history in schools, we need to keep pushing that on a regular basis so they hear us.
Is our voice loud enough to be heard? It's a question I'm throwing out at you, because we've travelled this far in our lives. We're at different ages and change has come, but it hasn't been, for me personally, enough for my daughter to bring a child into this world, for me to be confident my daughter can actually walk down the road with her child and not be subjected to racism. So
you know how we do it?
Go ahead.
How we do it. The momentum's not just about today, yeah?
That's right.
How we keep this going is by supporting each other. And I mean, not lip service.
Yeah.
I mean supporting. There's thousands of Black businesses out there.
Yeah.
Do we know them? Do we support them? Do you go in the Black shop and buy from them? Or do you go in the Indian shop because it's 20 or 30 pence cheaper?
Yeah.
And why it's cheaper is because the Indian shops club together and buy their stock wholesale. They buy bulk, bigger bulk, So the Black shops can't compete with that.
Suffer.
They're independent.
That's right.
So maybe the Black hair shops need to do it. Come together, buy their stock in bulk, stop seeing each other as a competition, reduce their prices, maybe go a bit cheaper than the Indian man if it takes, a little bit cheaper, 5 pence, 10 pence, that's all it takes for us people. And we need to just start spending our money with our own people.
And we need to start now.
I'm all for Black Pound, man. I'm all for it, I'm all for it. I think it's a long time coming. I'm excited. Do you know how many Black businesses? I was invited to a Black business directory. It had 35,000 Black businesses on it. That's just one, There are tons of Black businesses out there. And I think, my daughter said it way before COVID. My daughter said, Mum, we've been talking about it. I don't know if it's on Black Twitter or on her friend. She said, I'm going to start spending my money in Black shops. My daughter's 20, They're ahead of us. I mean,
that's good.
I think we did the best we could. We did the best we could, our generation, But I think, and we've sort of equipped our kids now to take it higher because we want our kids to do better than we did. And it's happening.
I do believe that we have soldiers on board now. Our youth of today are soldiers. They are the soldiers.
They're what?
They are soldiers. Soldiers.
They are, man.
They definitely are. Yeah, they're ready for war. And
they're unapologetic. They're going to make change happen,
And they're educating themselves and they're putting themselves in the right situations, positions. I mean, they're setting up their businesses. They're ready.
They're ready.
They are ready.
They're starting businesses at young ages.
Yes.
I'm telling you, we need to. One thing I would say that I do talk to a lot of young people. I don't care where they're from. I'm not scared. I'll speak to any of them out on the street and they do listen. Yeah. And I don't know if it was the pleasure or not of working in Wormwood Scrubs, right? Yeah. And it was a job, imagine me from corporate in Wormwood Scrubs, inside on the wings with the prisoners. Yeah. You'd be horrified, honestly. Yeah. I actually saw everything. I was in cells. The amount of Black boys and men that are in the prison, if I saw 10 white ones, it was a lot on that wing. Yeah. They're all in there. All our young men and big men. I met a man in his 40s, good-looking Black brother. Told me he's got 5 daughters, and I said, so what are you doing here then, We need you out there. We need to. All of our men are in there. A generation of men are in that's one wing,
And hopefully the new young generation coming up not going to be addition to that. I mean, because their mindset is slightly different from, what our older brothers and sisters have been subjected to.
So exactly. I think with that as well, us as adults, we really need to tune into our young people more.
100%.
And not as Miss D say, don't be scared to talk to them.
That's right.
Or
No,
to
they
strike
want
up a
you to.
conversation, because more time they will talk to you,
Of course.
and they will tell you of their struggles that they're dealing with, whether it's through school or college or whatever's going on, and you could be that person to direct them to the right place.
Indeed, yeah. I know
I
this.
think sometimes, I think sometimes coming from someone outside of their family, they do listen more,
They do.
Sorry, Miss Law.
No, coming from doing youth work and being an outreach worker, 100%, they would rather listen to you as a stranger than a family member.
There you go.
I'd like to have your final thoughts on today's subject, Miss D. I just wanted to say a few things that you feel that inspire a youth, a black sister, a black brother, going forward in these testing times, because our times have always been tested. So, the struggle is always there for us. But what would your final words be to someone out there who could be listening to us right now?
My final words will be: the chains have finally been broken, and I just think it's the time for us to run, don't get weary, run and keep going, because the world is listening to us. This is our chance, and I think if we want change, especially our older ones, we need to really encourage our young people. We need to let them be educated so they can really take up these positions. We need them in the government. We need them in position, so they need to be educated to get there.
Okay, and Miss Mode, what's your final thoughts and words?
My thing is, I want to actually be more involved with young black people, giving them the same encouragement as Miss D said, draw them towards education, get them into these positions where they should be, because I think without them we won't get things done.
Indeed.
Because the other part won't understand where we're coming from.
Yeah.
With them in position, we have that chance to change.
Yeah.
And also I just want to start to buy more from my own, buy black.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing seeing a lot of groups on social media with these black owned directories that you can basically get anything you want.
That's right. So moving forward, we're now in a position to make a change. We're in a position to point people in the right direction.
I feel there's 100%. No excuse. There's no excuse now.
And my final thoughts are, and my final words are that for me, as a black female living in a white world that's dominated and controlled by the white man, my goal and my aims are for us to be where we're supposed to be. We came from kings and queens, and we will go out as kings and queens.
We're going to go there, don't worry.
And as far as I'm concerned, any brother or sister or uncle or aunt who needs that helping hand to go that direction, I'm there for them, because the sooner we unite, the sooner we will be in a better world, the world that we deserve, and we'll claim back everything that is rightfully ours as a people. It has been an interesting subject. It has been one that has possibly pulled on heartstrings and experiences, and just the overall living the life of a black individual, a black woman, a black man, a black child. It's made us possibly think about how we have coped, how we intend to cope going forward, and how it's time to make that change. It's time to step forward, stop holding back. It's our time now, and I think we need to stay united, keep on doing what we're doing to get to where we need to get to. I want to take this opportunity to thank Miss Mode. I want to thank Miss D, and I'd like to say good night, God bless.
Thank you.
And take care of yourselves. Good
Thank
night.
you both. Thank you.
Good night.
Happy Father's Day.
Oh yes, and oh yes, don't forget the fathers. Happy Father's Day. Good night and God bless.
We smoke honestly. What if we smoke honestly? What if we smoke honestly? What if we smoke honestly?